This right here is what we got going on today. I bought 2 of these when they had a 40% off sale. I'm just going to be putting a 4-barrel intake on this 318 that's in my drag truck here. Now hold on, don't go getting excited. We're not setting the world on fire just yet. The only reason why I'm going to do that is I want to have the linkage and everything set up already ready, so when we get the 5.9 together, it's going to have the exact same intake on it. We can just set it in here, linkage, and take the carburetor off of this, set it right on top of there, and you know, that way we're kind of set up and good to go. And besides, it'll give the little 318 for the time being just a little bit of more once we get her going, you know, but we're certainly not setting land records or anything like that. So let's run over the game plan. As you can see, it don't take a lot of tools. Gotta have water. It's hot and it's muggy here today, and it's supposed to rain, and it still might, but we'll see what we can get done. So now it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's really simple. We're going to drain the radiator. I like to take about 1 gallon or 5 quarts out of it just to get it below the intake level here. We'll take the air cleaner off. We don't have to do anything with the distributor back there. We can just leave that alone. That's just fine. Remove the linkage and springs, and probably take the valve covers off, and that's pretty much all we have to do to this, and we'll have her off in a jiffy. So why don't we go ahead and get started here, and let's take the radiator out if we can. Oh, these rotten plastic things. Yeah, we got something going now. I'll be. Now, this is that's kind of a messy job down there. I like those metal petcocks much better than them plastic things. Anyways, while that's draining, we can go ahead and do some stuff like take this air cleaner here off. Alright, we can remove that. I'll just tell you the steps I'm doing next. But I can tell you I'm going to take the vacuum cleaner and I'm going to suck all the dirt out on inside here, because I don't like that going down in my valley. Okay? Let's look at all that back there. Unplug a couple of the electrical pieces that hook to it like that. That's really about it. Distributor vacuum advance. That'll stay with the distributor. There. About got all the electrical unplugged. That stays hooked. Yeah, it's really how simple it is. Carburetor springs. I'll leave that when I take this bracket out. They'll stay with that. And this is easy enough. Carburetor linkage. There we go. That'll come off when I do the 2 bolts. Just don't want to lose that stuff. And got one here. Clip there. There we go. Look at there. I took out the upper radiator holes, the bypass holes. And this right here, they had the heater core bypass, so this just went from the water pump to that. And I just looped that around, moved the wiring out of the way. The only thing that plugged in was this. This here I'm taking off right now. This right here holds the carburetor return springs on. So it just had a bolt through here, you know, a bolt here, and your ground cable was here, and I just looped the ground cable over to here. And I'll take this off. And now I'll be able to get inside there and vacuum all that out really well. Also, I took the brake booster vacuum off and the PVC valve holes off the carburetor. So really all that's left is the bolts, the main bolts that hold the intake on, valve covers, and this right here, the fill line inlet. So, but I'm going to vacuum all that out. Okay, we got it pretty good all throughout there now, and at least it won't be an avalanche of crud and garbage going down in that valley. So might get a little bit down in there, but hopefully we limited that to just the bare minimum. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just finish taking all these out. I'm going to leave the carburetor on because no need for me to take that off, but I'm going to go ahead and take out all 12 of the bolts. One of them's already out, 9/16, remove all of them, and that one very back one there, it's a little bit of a booger to get at with the distributor there, but I ain't touching the distributor. It'll come out fine without it. Okay, last little bit of this linkage here is this transmission kickdown was up on this, like this. So it was just another one of those little clips you pull out. I set it to the side. Now that this is all loose, you know, it's gonna... So I just loosened the throttle cable here. Oops, didn't mean to take it all the way off. Put that back on. Nothing gets lost. And now I can get a little easier in here. Got the cable out of the way. I can get in here with a wrench. I can get that last bolt off, okay? We have all the linkage off, and I re-vacuumed it out here. Just did a real quick 1-minute job vacuuming and everything out. And oh, I disconnected the fuel line here too. Just squeeze this clamp here and on each end, and we took off the fuel filter. So I removed all the valve cover bolts. There's 5 per side, 7/16. Oh, the one in the back, way in the back there, just used my little 7/16 wrench to get him. Make sure you got your spark plug wires out of the looms, and I try to lift them off nice and even, easily. I don't want to drop crud in there, and I don't want to break up my gasket. Kind of a... I've seen worse, but I definitely seen better for crud. But anyways, we're not going to run this motor too much longer anyways, so not a big deal. Okay, I got this on the tripod. I'll try not to knock it off. That way I can work with both hands. It's hard to work and hold it 2 hands. I only take one off. The other side of the valve cover I only take up like that. There's no need to take it all the way off. So I'm going to try the easy thing first, which I know won't cooperate. I'm going to see if I can break it loose with a screwdriver in here. No. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I approach this differently. This is a cast iron intake, so I'm not quite as fussy with it as I would be if it was aluminum. But I'm going to try to drive this screwdriver you can pound on the end of it. And I'm just going to try to drive this, if I can, underneath that intake. Got to be a better way. There we go. There, we got it. Once you get that underneath there, it's ready to come off. So I'm going to try to grab a hold of the carburetor and lift it off nice and straight. And the pickup makes it a little bit more difficult if you're not 6'4". Bring it right out here and set it out there if I can. What do you know? It's a roller cam motor. So this motor is at least a 85 or newer. Them are roller lifters. It's got the fishbone or spider, whatever you want to call it. It's holding down the roller rockers. And then I like to fill this up with a nice, in this case it's an old t-shirt of mine, to make sure that when we do stuff like this and peel this stuff off, that we're not going to get crud down in that valley. Okay, these look like factory gaskets, tin gaskets. And I'm just going to clean around here real good, taking off all crud, getting rid of it out of here. We can kind of do a little comparison here on weight, the cast iron versus the aluminum. I know that 4-barrel is a lot heavier than this 2-barrel. I'm not even saying that's the carburetor I'm going to use, but I just did it for the weight. So, of course, this still has the thermostat housing. Cast iron intake, it weighs 53.2. And the aluminum with the 4-barrel weighs 30.6. So for time, if you take away my pick up the camera and put the camera back down time, yeah, it's a relaxing 45, maybe 50 minutes to do everything we did. Of course, I don't have air conditioning and a lot of other stuff that people might have, but on this motor it was a relaxing 45-50 minutes to get it to this point. Okay, I cleaned it. I have the gaskets on there. They're just regular Felpro gaskets you get over the counter at like O'Reilly's, or 17 bucks or whatever. Anyways, just a couple things I'm going to point out. Around the heads, on the intake ports on the heads, I used Indian shellac by Permatex, Indian head gasket shellac. I don't really do it on the gasket, I just do it on the head, because if you look, it's extruded out here to flatten out, but the inside it's inverted. That's why I just do it on that. Do you need to do it? I don't know. I just feel better doing it. You get these little red plastic things. They go on the second one to the end on all four. They hold your gaskets in place. If I'm putting an aluminum intake on, I don't use the end gaskets. Okay, I have before. You can do it. It will work. But I don't do it with aluminum usually. Cast iron, I would use them. And all I do is put a 3/8 bead of Max oil resistant gasket maker by Permatex again. I do use the little tube they give you with the gaskets. I use it around the water jackets on both sides of the gasket. Okay, well, we're going to set that intake on there. Just a couple of hiccups that we're going to have to go to the store and buy. They gave me plugs for a lot of what there is. I need to plug the hole back there, and I need to buy a 90 here for this, because the carburetor, this carburetor is going to want to hit that, so it needs to angle out over there. What else can I show you? These little holes here, that's just for the Magnum. I got plugs that go in there and plug those up. This is a pretty neat intake, as these Speedmasters are made for the LA, which takes this bolt, or the Magnum, which takes, you know, the straight up and down bolts. So there's just little plugs that slip in there. It's all it is cosmetics as it looks. You can see I added just a nut there for a spacer for the linkage, and add a little longer bolt. Again, I don't know if I'm going to use this carburetor or find something else. I'm kind of getting low on carburetors that I know work good. In fact, I don't have any right now that I know works good. I have no idea if this carburetor is even good or not. So as you can see, it's running now. I use this old 670 Holley. Seems to run really good. You see how I hooked it up? I used the bracket that you can buy for it, and then off the two barrel, this carburetor linkage stud off the two barrel. So it's all wet because I sprayed it all down after I was done handling it. But it's done. It works really good right now. And anyways, that's the intake swap.